What's up guys, Enkiri here, and welcome to the Conjugate Vlogs series. And what I want to try to do here is showcase some of my training in a comprehensive format so that you guys can get a better idea of how things are actually set up. So basically right now I'm running my version of the Conjugate method, and actually keep your eyes peeled this year, 2022, because I'm going to be releasing a new training template. It's going to be my fully fleshed out vision of Conjugate style training. I'm excited for that, but we'll get to that later. So in this vlog series though, what I want to do is kind of show my full weeks of training, but split up into upper body vlogs and lower body vlogs. So currently I'm training 4 times per week. I'm using an upper lower split, and so that means 2 upper body sessions per week and 2 lower body sessions per week. And so every vlog, what I want to do is combine those sessions, combine the 2 uppers or the 2 lowers together into one training vlog, and that way you guys can kind of see what a full week of training looks like for my upper body or for my lower body, whatever we're doing that day. So let's just jump right into it. So here we have the first lower body session of the training week, and this was from 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I don't quite remember. I would have to reference my training journal, but it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's relatively recent, and this is my heavy lower body day, right? So we start off here like you guys just saw with a quick sequence on a power movement, and that can be any resistance-based power exercise, something that's in the strength speed spectrum of things. And here I just happen to use a high hang power snatch. We're also going to show some heavy swings that I did later in the week in this video, and in this particular slot on the heavy day I'm also using snatch grip high pulls, hang power cleans, loaded jumps, resisted sprints, and then actually yesterday I even incorporated shouldering a heavy sandbag for the first time ever. So that was quite a bit different, but also a lot of fun. But basically in that slot I'm just working up to something heavy, and then I'm moving on to the max effort strength segment of the workout. In this workout I used the SSB squat for the first time ever in this particular slot. So I had previously done a heavy SSB box squat, but I had never attempted a heavy SSB free squat until right here. I had done a set where I got a set of 10, but I had never done a heavy single like this, and it went well, right? So I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with this bar at this point. Like I said, I hit 300 for 10 pretty easily on my volume day. I think it was the week before this, and then I hit this 400-pound single in this session with, I don't know, probably 20, maybe 30 pounds in the tank if I was willing to put up a big fight. And then I've also done a super easy 420-pound single on the box variation so far, and probably again had something like 20 to 30 pounds in the tank when I did that lift. So I'm getting comfortable with the bar. It's coming along. I had a whole lot of trouble with the safety squat bar for my first 2 or 3 times using it, but then it only took a couple more sessions after that for me to start getting a bit more comfortable with it. So far I've only used it maybe 5 or 6 times, something like that. So there still should be plenty of room left for improvement with the safety squat bar. And then after the heavy squats I moved on to the pistol squat, and here I'm really just doing this exercise for the sake of my left hip, for the sake of gaining mobility into that hip capsule, deep into that hip capsule, right? I have good mobility on the right side. I can sink into that hip really easily, but I can't quite sink into the left hip as easily as the right hip. So I'm trying to kind of even that out a little bit, or at least just get a little bit more comfortable on the left side, and it's going well so far. I've done this exercise I think 4 or 5 times now. I'm pretty sure that the session shown here is actually just the 3rd time that I was doing it, and I've gotten to the point where I can do 10 reps on each leg with no heel lift, with no plate under my heel anymore, just with wearing my Olympic weightlifting shoes. And so what I'm doing here is I'm doing 3 sets, and in this particular session I was doing 5 reps per set. The volume was a little bit lower because I was a little bit less comfortable with the movement, and I kind of start by using the bar. I'll put a bar in my squat rack, and then I'll hold on to it, and I'll use that as support as I lower myself, just to warm my hips up, right? Get them ready and prepped. And then I move on to using the heel lift, and I'll use 2 light weights here as a counterbalance like you can see me doing. And then now in more recent history I've also eliminated the heel lift altogether, so I'm just using the counterbalance weights. And then honestly, as I move forward, I don't really much care about eliminating the counterbalance or not, but eventually what I would like to start doing is loading this exercise lightly, just lightly, using my weight vest, but we're not quite ready for that just yet. And then I round this session out with some hip flexor work and some planks. And here I did the lying cable hip flexion with a bent knee. I've also started doing this variation with a straight leg, which is quite a bit different. And I'll use a variety of standing isometric hip flexion here, standing dynamic hip flexion, and seated isometric hip flexion while seated on the floor. So in this slot, I've got quite a bit of variety, quite a bunch of options here. And you guys are going to see most of them make an appearance eventually, but I'm really just kind of going with whichever variation tickles my fancy that day. And then I'm kind of loosely progressing each one concurrently, very slowly over time. And it's working really nicely right now. And honestly, my hips feel great. And then another component of that is these Copenhagen planks. So this is basically a side plank, but you kind of kill two birds with one stone by incorporating the aspect of hip adduction. So by placing the top leg on the bench, the thigh has to remain strongly adducted in order to keep your body in a proper plank position. And this trashes the inner thigh, the adductor muscles, and it just helps my hips to feel really good, right? And you can kind of progress this by adding weight onto your side like I've done here, and then eventually by increasing the lever arm by sliding down the bench so that your foot is supporting you instead of being supported by your knee. And then another option here, and one that I'm using also right now, is to make this an abduction side plank instead of adduction. And you do that by placing the bottom leg on the bench, and then that way the lateral hip muscles, the outer hip muscles, have to, instead of the inner ones, have to go into overdrive to keep the hips abducted and keep the body on a level plane while you plank. So both options are great, but they accomplish different things, and so both should be incorporated. Moving on to the next training session now, this is my volume or repetition oriented lower body day. Again, I kick it off with a power movement. This time it's the heavy swing, and these went well. Not really too much to say about them. I'm just adding weight with each set here, performing ascending sets, and I'm focusing on staying crisp in my movement, making sure not to get thrown down onto my ass, and then I'm really just putting out as much oomph, as much power into the implement as I can on every rep. Then after the swings, I move on to the belt squat. So in this slot here, I'm kind of going between these belt squats, SSB squats, and deficit stiff leg deadlifts, just so that I can get some pulling action as well. And each time in this slot, I'm using ascending sets. So regardless of the rep range, I'm working up over the course of 3 or 4 sets. And then the final set of the day is always the heaviest set of the day. And that might not be optimal for maximizing the amount of weight you have on the bar, but it's good for rep work. It's good for volume accrual. And in this case, I'm basically calling it a 10 to 15 rep range on the belt squat with an optional AMRAP set on the final set. And in this session, since I really wanted to go for 300 pounds for a set of 20 reps on my last set so that I could hit a PR, I basically capped myself at 10 reps on the AMRAP set, right? So on the first 2 sets, I basically capped myself at 10 reps with 200 pounds and 250 pounds just to minimize, prime the motor pattern, prime the movement, but minimize fatigue accumulation on the way up, right? On the way up the ramp. And then I went for 300 pounds on the last set, and I ended up banging out 20 pretty solid reps with it. And this exercise, it's just so unique, man. It's pretty forgiving on the hips, which is important for me. Obviously, it's forgiving on the lower back because there's no spinal compression, but with that, it absolutely trashes and smashes the quads and the adductors. So my quads and adductors were just unbelievably sore after this session, and they actually ended up still being a bit sore going into my heavy day the following week, so like 3 days later. So it was pretty substantial soreness, but it's good stuff here, man. This rep work is going to make really nice support for the heavy work that I do, and the exercise rotation is going really well on both days here and really helping to keep things fresh and keep my progress going as I move deeper into the program. And then I move on to the deficit hip thrust here to finish things out. And these are no joke, man. That extra range of motion is pretty fucking brutal. It really takes the exercise up a notch because I'm easily hitting 405 for 10 from the floor now. Clean and controlled reps. But the extra ROM here with the deficit, I tapped out at 265 pounds. I think I did 15 reps with it, but it's pretty well. It killed me, man. It was hard. And it's pretty wild how much of a difference that little bit, few extra inches makes on this movement. It's all good though. It feels really nice. I get a massive glute pump, and it's like I said, like I've tried to convey many times now, this is just an assistance move. It's really for health, in my opinion. It's a means to an end. It is not an end in and of itself. And I can clearly see that that message has been getting lost amongst many people, even in my videos. But again, you're better off not going excessively heavy here. Just focus on the movement. Be a bodybuilder, right? I know that natural hypertrophy just accused me of harboring anti-bodybuilding sentiments, but in a case like this, be a bodybuilder. You're better off thinking of the muscles here and focusing on crisp execution rather than simply moving the weight. And then I kind of finished this session up with just a couple more ancillary movements, mostly just some more side planking, front planking as well, that kind of thing. So just some holds, pretty basic stuff, but we'll show some of it later. I just felt like this video was starting to drag on a bit, so I kind of wanted to close it out. But that pretty much covers it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. And like I said, I'd like to get back to making these vlogs semi-regularly, but I'm not going to make any promises right now. I'm going to do what I can, though. That's what I'll say. But anyway, remember to smash the like button before you go. Leave me some love in the comments. All that good stuff. Check out EnkiriEliteFitness.com for online coaching and training programs. And keep training hard, guys. I'll catch y'all next time.